Hey guys, this is Hein and today I'm gonna go through my entire Rubik's Cube collection. So let's get started. This video will be divided like this. We're first going to do the WCA N by N events, then the WCA non-N by N events, and then lastly the non-WCA events. WCA, if you don't know, is the World Cubing Association, and they organize all the competitions. So non-WCA just means it's a cube that you won't use in a competition. So let's start with the first one, 2x2. And all of these will go from worst to best. So my first ever 2x2 was the MoFang Jiaoshi Cubing Classroom 2x2. And this cube is really good for its price. It's a really cheap cube, and I mean 2x2 hardware is so good you can get away with practically any cube. Then I have the QiYi Wuxia. This was my main for a month or two until I got the Gans 249 version 2, and this has been my main for the longest time. I've used this cube in 2 competitions and I really love this cube. But I got this cube about a month ago, and it's the Dayan Tengyun 2x2 magnetic, and this cube is phenomenal. I absolutely love this cube. I'll always use this cube until a better one comes out, but I'm very impressed with this cube. So yeah, those are all the 2x2 cubes. Next up we have 3x3. I'm just gonna quickly show this cube because it's taking up all the space. This is just the 18 centimeter jumbo cube, and this is just for aesthetic purposes. I mean, I really like how it looks next to my TV. So yeah. So now let's go through the actual 3x3s. And we're gonna start off with these two. I think one of these two I got at a Chinese shop. I think it was this one, which was a really cheap Chinese shop cube. Then this one I got online. I just bought it as a keychain and I used it for a long time. And this is actually a keychain cube, but it's actually quite a decent cube. I can't remember all the names of these cubes, so I'll just put it up here just so that you guys know which cube I'm talking about. And also my Chinese pronunciation isn't that great since I don't know Chinese. And here we have my first ever Rubik's Cube, and this is the thing that got me into speed cubing. So I know we love to hate on Rubik's, but I mean, if it wasn't for this cube, I would have never cubed, so I'm truly grateful for this cube. And I got it at a Toys R Us. So. Then we have my first ever speed cube I've ever bought, the MoYu Aolong V2. And this cube was amazing for me. I mean, this was the first cube I've ever held that was an actual speed cube, and this really got me into speed cubing as a whole. And then I bought these two together. This one is the Cubing Classroom MoFang Jiaoshi 3x3, and it's a decent cube. I use it for FMC a lot, but I mean, yeah, it's just a standard Cubing Classroom cube. Then we have my first ever really good cube, and that is the Gans. I think this is the Gans Air. I'm not sure, but I'll put the name up here for you guys. But this was the Gans Air, and I absolutely love this cube. And when I got this cube, I first got serious about cubing. Then we have my current main, the Gans 356X. I mean, there's not much to explain. Everybody loves this cube. It's an amazing cube. And yeah, there's nothing more I can say. Now let's go on to 4x4. After my first competition, which was the Honor Classic, I bought this cube, which is the Cubing Classroom MoFang Jiaoshi. And this is my first ever bigger cube than a 3x3, and I have to appreciate for bringing me into the big cube scene. So it isn't a great cube, but I mean, it is a budget cube. Then I decided I wanted a decent cube, and I made a big mistake. I bought this cube, the Gans 460M, which is a really overpriced 4x4, and it isn't good at all. You can look at many reviews, and most people agree that this cube isn't great. And don't get me wrong, I'm a massive fan of Gans, but this cube just wasn't it. And then we got my newest 4x4, which is the the Valk 4M. And this is my current main, and I really love this cube. At first I didn't like it a lot, but after practicing and breaking it in, it started to get really good. And yeah, so that's my 4x4 main. Next up is 5x5. My first 5x5, just like my first 4x4, is the MoFang Jiaoshi Cubing Classroom. And this cube is not great. I mean, again, it's good for its price, but it's not a great cube. Then I got my Yuxin Little Magic 5x5, and this cube was my main for a very, very long time, and it's still a really good cube, even though it's a budget cube. And then I got this cube, and I mean, I don't think I have to say anything because this cube is phenomenal. The Valk 5M. Almost anyone can agree that this cube is the best 5x5 on the market, and maybe the MGC as well. But this cube is just amazing. I really love this cube. It's a really good cube to buy, and I do recommend it to anyone who wants to buy a decent 5x5. Now as for 6x6, I only have 2 cubes, the QiYi Wuhua and the Aoshi GTS-M, the MoYu Aoshi GTS-M. And to be honest, you really need magnets when it comes to big cubes, because this cube isn't magnetized. It's really stiff, and when you loosen it up, it locks up a ton. And this just wasn't the cube I wanted to practice with. And then I got this cube with the Valk 5M once I did my unboxing, and this cube is amazing. I really love this cube. I can practice for hours with it, and it doesn't take that much effort to turn, and it's just an all-round decent cube. For 7x7 I have 3 cubes. This was my first cube that I bought. It is I think it's called the Z Cloud, and I bought this with the cubing classroom 4x4 and 5x5 at the Arnold Classic, and I hate this cube. That's why I never practiced 7x7, because this cube is, you can even see it's so hard to turn. So then I started to upgrade, but I didn't have a lot of money, so I just bought a decent budget cube, which is the Meilong 7x7. And this cube is really good for its price. It's a really cheap cube. It's a really small cube, and I like the size of this cube. I mean, if you compare it to this one, you can clearly see, I think it's like a 1 or 2 millimeter difference. I really like this cube for its price, but I wanted to take 7x7 a little bit more seriously, so I got this cube, which is the Yufu 7x7, and this cube is amazing. It is magnetized, and I love to practice with it. The thing is, with bigger cubes, you can't get away with cheap budget cubes. So for 3x3 and 2x2, you can easily practice with cheaper cubes, but with bigger cubes, it's really hard to practice because they lock up a lot and they're not fun to practice with. But this cube is really fun to practice with, and I really love this cube. Now let's get on to the WCA non-M-By-N events. This is of Pyraminx. This was my first Pyraminx. It's the cubing classroom Pyraminx. Yeah, not much to say. Again, like all the other cubing classrooms, it's decent for its price, but it's not a good cube. Then I got the MoYu Magnetic, which is an amazing cube. I really love this cube, but the problem is I don't like stickered puzzles, and that actually make quite a big difference for me in the competition. So I decided to take a chance and buy the Yuxin 1 Lon. And I'm not mad that I bought this, because this is actually a really good cube. It's just a bit too fast, a little bit unstable, but except for that, it's a really good cube and I really enjoy it. So for this cube, my first cube was the X-Men Wingy, which is an amazing cube, but I broke a corner. So I decided, why don't I take a chance with the MoYu Aoyan Magnetic, since a lot of people love this cube. And to be honest, you can see in my review, I gave this cube a 6 out of 10, which isn't that good, but that's only because out of the box, this cube isn't great. But with a lot of setup, with some lube and some practice, this cube, in my opinion, is objectively better than the X-Men Wingy. But again, I'm not a cube expert, so don't trust me, but I personally enjoy this cube a lot. So now let's start with my favorite puzzle, the Megaminx. So my first ever cube, again like with most of the cubes, was the cubing classroom MoFang Jiaoshi. And this cube is horrendous. I think it's called convex. The convex pieces really hurt my fingers after practicing just for a little bit. And it's an alright cube. I mean, it's not great, but I really don't like practicing with it. And for bigger cubes, which has more complex mechanisms, you really need a decent cube. And here was my main for a really long time, the Yuxin Little Magic Megaminx. And that's the only one I've ever competed with. My first competition in the Arnold Classic, sorry. And then I bought this cube, take a chance with. But for some reason, I didn't know much about Megaminx, so I didn't know that ridges or something that's concave would be better. So I just bought I think this is the Galaxy V1. It's not magnetized. It's alright, it's better than the Yuxin Little Magic, but it wasn't really a good cube and a fun cube to solve with. And it's really heavy, which makes it hard to turn and to hold. So yeah, not really that good cube. And then I bought the cube that really got me into Megaminx, the Gans Megaminx. And this cube is amazing. I mean, do I really have to explain why this cube is the best cube I've ever tried? I'm really impressed with this cube, and this is the cube that got me into Megaminx, like really got me into it. And I really love this cube, especially the concave feeding, and the colors in my opinion is better than the Galaxy V2. But I mean, that's just up to personal preference, but I personally really like this cube. So for non-WCA cubes, I only have 2. I think this is called the ball cube and the gear cube. So at first I thought I was going to buy a bunch of these types of non-WCA cubes and just have fun with it. But to be honest, you buy this cube, you play with it for an hour or so, then you just forget about it. So that's why I never bought any more. I'm not a cube collector, I'm just a competitor. So this cube, it's very fun to practice with. It's not a bad cube, the mechanism is very simple. But it's just it looks good. I mean, with friends around, this looks quite impressive. And as for the gear cube, I don't know what gear cube this is, but this is a really bad gear cube. It's extremely hard to turn with this cube. And I mean, gear cubes are fun and all, but they're really simple to solve. So to be honest, I don't really want to practice gear cube. Maybe if I get a better one I might just practice, but I won't practice that long. So yeah, those are all my non-WCA events, only two, sorry for that. So to finish off, I decided why not go through all the accessories. So first the cube bags. So Speedcubes.co.za is the South African company that sponsors a lot of competitions, and usually when you buy a cube, you get one of these, or when you go to a competition, sometimes they even give you one of these. And then obviously Gans sometimes gives you some of these cube bags, and yeah, they are not really good quality and I really like them, but I don't really use them. Sorry, there was just someone at the door. So next I bought the bundle with the the speed stacks. We get a speed stacks timer, a speed stacks mat, and a speed stacks bag, which you can put your cubes in. So I really like this. And then this was my first timer, and you can even see the Yuxin timer. Both buttons, the reset button and the power button, are broken. But this one I've actually practiced twice or maybe 3 times as long with that timer, and the buttons are still in perfect shape. So I really love this timer, and I'm going to use this for a long time. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was quite hard to get all the cubes in one place, but yeah, it was a really fun video to make. I'm planning on doing a video like this every year, depending on how many cubes I get each year. But yeah, this was a fun video to make, so like and subscribe, and peace.